Alright everybody, today we're going to be breaking down the quadrilogy fight between Brandon Moreno and Deiveson Figueiredo. It's going to be more of a frame-by-frame analysis than using actual fight footage, just because, the fight just happened, so I don't want to get copyrighted and have the UFC take it down. So this might be a longer video, but I feel like we'll get more explanation done than with the fight footage. So we're starting it off in round one, and you'll see Figueiredo went for the overhand right, and then Moreno's going to step to the outside of the right foot of Deiveson Figueiredo with his lead left foot, and then use the body lock to drag him down to the ground. Moreno's always been good with the body lock takedowns, and this is just another example of him using it to close the distance and stop the forward pressure of Deiveson. And by ending up in the side control on the opposite side of the guillotine attempt, it also can set up a potential Von Flue choke for Moreno, but takes away the threat of the potential guillotine from Figueiredo. This clip right here is just to show the angle that Figueiredo wants to get to. He wants to get to the outside of the lead left jab of Moreno, so he steps ever so slightly over to his rear side. Here you're going to see Moreno throw out the jab, but Figueiredo likes to feint that rear hand to draw out the jab and potentially come with the overhand right counter over the lead left hand of Moreno. We've talked about the lead side weapons from Moreno, and we're going to continue it here. He throws the jab, and he goes with a left hook on the same side. He likes to go 1-3, which is jab into same side, check left hook. But Figueiredo's wise to it and pulls away from it. It's either the jab, the lead left hook, or the left switch kick to the body, which you're going to see showcased here on screen. A lot of the weapons and the best and most effective weapons for Moreno against Figueiredo are off of the lead left side in the orthodox stance. On screen now, you're going to see the angle that Figueiredo likes to be at. It's a slight angle to that rear right side, away from the power right hand of Moreno, but also on the correct angle up against the cage to where he can set up his power shot with a potential left hook into the overhand right. But Moreno likes to draw that pull out of Figueiredo, and he can feint the jab and come back with the left hook, or just throw the left hook on its own. That angle that Figueiredo stands at is mainly to counter the straight punches, but as you're moving laterally, he can run into the left hook just like we have shown on screen. We're going to see Figueiredo here, again, controlling the center, but he's going to set up a pretty common combination. He's going to back Moreno a little bit closer to the fence, and then he's going to go with the 3 on the lead side, which is the left hook, and then Moreno's going to counter that with an overhand right, but Figueiredo's going to step off on an angle and load up the right low kick and slip his head off the center line, which is going to avoid the counter right hand and allow for the across the legs kind of tie style of right low kick from Figueiredo instead of a calf kick. Here we're going to see that similar angle that we've talked about where Figueiredo can set up the right hand, but Moreno's going to slip as he sees Figueiredo try to load up with it and go with a lead uppercut or a left hook to the body. I believe it was a lead uppercut or a 5, and then come back with the cross on the rear side. So that slip off can draw out the counter right hand of Deiveson Figueiredo, but it gives Moreno the correct angle to land the body shot, which will cause Figueiredo to lift his head up and then be there for the counter cross behind it. Here's the signature lean that Figueiredo uses, as we've already talked about, to set up the cross, but as he leans away, the lean can leave you open for the wider shots or the looping shots instead of the straight punches, which is why Moreno uses the jab feint to set up the left hook as Figueiredo tries to pull away. The rear hand parry can be used from Figueiredo to parry, slip, and come over the top with the cross, but he feints the jab, draws out the parry, which is going to pull down the rear hand defense that Figueiredo has to block the potential right hand, and then he can use that to set up the left hook. We're going to get into some of the grappling exchanges, and you're going to see here that Figueiredo has control of the left wrist of Brandon Moreno that he can use to push inside and set up a triangle, but instead he sets up the omoplata, but by Moreno controlling the right ankle of Figueiredo, he's not allowing him to figure for his legs and potentially set up the omoplata by using this seatbelt to the other hip, but Figueiredo uses that positioning and the fact that Moreno has control of his ankle to roll into the Ashigarami game and try to set up a heel hook. But even in this position, Moreno is able to get his knee lower than the hips of Figueiredo and control the left ankle and foot to stop from another figure 4 position, but this time against the leg of Moreno to really torque on that heel hook by controlling the one heel and the other ankle slash heel, you stop the figure four and stop from Figueiredo being able to get the torque into the submission attempt. Moreno then breaks the figure four and is able to escape the submission attempt and get back up to his feet to end the round. As we kick off the second round, Moreno's going to try to set up that left switch kick to the body, but Figueiredo's going to catch it. Moreno's then going to jump up with that right foot to try to stop a potential sweep from Figueiredo, but Figueiredo's going to lift it up and use that to take Moreno down to the ground, where he ends up in the full guard of the interim champion. Here you're going to see Moreno try to switch his hips over to his left side and frame with the right forearm. This can set up a potential armbar on the left arm of Figueiredo, as it is inside of the armpit or on the chest of Moreno. And it can also set up a full guard or scissor sweep for Moreno to gain top position. Figueiredo's going to stand up and push his hips forward to try to gain a stacked guard against Moreno and land some vicious ground and pound, but with Moreno's feet on the hips, it's a little bit harder for him. So by him inching his way closer and pushing his hips forward, it can eliminate those feet on the hips and allow for ground and pound or a potential pass over to side control. Here we're going to see Moreno's guard game, and you see he's already starting to get up on his left hip. He's going to use the feet on the hips to kick his way into Figueiredo, get up on the left hip, then stand up with the single leg attempt with the head on the inside. That allows for a tactical get up, not in the literal sense, but a technical way of getting up with the takedown entry, and then he can break off and land strikes off the break. And when we talk about strikes off the break, here you'll see Figueiredo tries to get the underhook on the left side, but as he pushes away, Moreno tries to land that left hook in a little bit of a square stance, but also in kind of a switch southpaw stance to catch Figueiredo as he pushes him away. I'm going to include this here as it's pretty important. You see Moreno throwing his left hand out like a jab, but he's actually using it to pull down the lead left hand of Figueiredo, which can open up the pathway for the right hand from Brandon Moreno. Moreno actually landed the right cross or overhand right a lot more effectively than Figueiredo did, and coming into this fight, we knew that the lead left side and the left-sided weapons of Moreno were more effective for him, while the rear side weapons, including the right hand and the right calf kick, were more effective for Figueiredo. But it seems that Moreno improved so vastly that he even stole the weapons that Deiveson uses and made them more effective for himself. This is going to kind of continue my narrative with the low kicks from Figueiredo and Moreno kind of stealing all of Figueiredo's effective weapons in this fight. Here you're going to see Moreno use that inside left low kick, which on one hand is going to slow down Figueiredo's forward pressure, and on the other hand, that inside low kick can actually drag Figueiredo into the direction of the right hand, whether it's a straight or an overhand right from Moreno. Here's Figueiredo and Moreno, again standing in the equal stances, but Figueiredo's stance is a lot more closed off than Moreno's. You're going to see Figueiredo reach out and measure with the jab, or look like he's going to lift that left hand, and that's going to draw out the counter right hand from Moreno, which cracks Deiveson right on the chin, and actually doesn't come over the top of the jab, but comes inside of the left hand and goes right through any potential defense or counter ability that Deiveson was looking to implement or execute. Again, the feint right hand from Deiveson to draw out the jab of Moreno and come over the top. You even see Moreno high guard on the left side, thinking the right hand is going to come. Then Moreno's actually going to throw out the left hook. It's more of a jab and hook hybrid, kind of like a Russian style thumb down hook, and then he's going to go with that left hook long, which is going to draw out the measure and the counter uppercut from Figueiredo, but Moreno's going to line up the right hand as Figueiredo throws that uppercut and crack Deiveson on the chin. Moreno's just 3 steps ahead in this fight, and he has been from start to finish. Here you're going to see Moreno again use the feint jab to get Deiveson to guard up high and shoot in on the hips. He's going to go with another head on the inside single attempt, and Deiveson's going to try to counter with a guillotine. However, Moreno's going to lift up the left leg and reach around to the opposite hip and drag him backwards, causing a kind of leg drag, backside trip style of takedown. The minute they hit the floor, this is where the scramble ensues. You can already see Figueiredo trying to elevate on the right foot. He uses that elevation to hip into Moreno, shrimp his hips in towards Moreno, and lift up underneath the armpit with the right arm and get into the top position, thus reversing the takedown attempt, causing a scramble and ending up in the top position. You'll see Figueiredo trying to establish the stacked guard again from here and potentially land some good ground and pound. He's controlling the wrist to try to edge forward towards Moreno. Moreno with the feet on the hips can either push off or in this case execute a sweep. He's going to grab onto the left ankle of Figueiredo and then use his right leg to sweep out the back calf or the right calf slash ankle, and it's going to be a push and pull. He's going to pull on the ankle and then push with the 1 foot on the hip and then pull out the back leg to execute that sweep. Off the sweep, Figueiredo's going to try to meet Moreno head on and pressure him back to his back, and Moreno's actually going to reshoot and try to shoot a double leg takedown as Figueiredo pressures. This is going to allow Figueiredo to grab the head and arm, jumping into his signature arm-in guillotine, the same guillotine he caught Alex Perez with in his title defense back at UFC 255. However, off of this guillotine attempt, which is very tight, Moreno's able to grab control of the wrists of Figueiredo, push down on the wrist and pull them away, and able to sneak his head out and get away from the guillotine to end the round. Heading into the third round, we're going to see a lot more of the same from Figueiredo, especially the rear hand feint and leading off to his lead side. He's going to set up the signature calf kick here, which he had a lot of success with in the trilogy fight. However, Moreno has a very unique defense to it this time, where he connects his left heel to his butt, which is going to avoid all damage from Figueiredo and actually have Figueiredo's leg go right past Moreno without any points of contact. This is going to cause Figueiredo to go off balance, and this style of leg kick or calf kick defense, I feel like is something we're going to see a lot more now implemented into the UFC and the highest levels of mixed martial arts, because you're not taking any damage in defending the kick this way, and the kick is going to whiff right past you and keep your opponent off balance for potential counter shots, which we'll see here shortly. Now leading up to the finishing sequence, we're going to see Figueiredo try to implement a signature weapon of Moreno that he used in this fight, which is the left switch kick to the body. Figueiredo's going to load up, throw the left switch kick, but Moreno's going to use a traditional defense and actually sweep the kick across his body with his left hand, connecting the palm to the left heel of Figueiredo. Sweep it across, which is going to square up the hips of Figueiredo and leave him open, kind of in a side-on or parallel stance, which is going to leave him open for any attacks coming from the lead left side of Brandon Moreno, which, as we've already talked about, is his most effective side, with the left hook, the jab, and the left switch kick to the body. And this is going to have no defense up for Figueiredo, and he's going to run right in to the palm down Russian style left hook of Moreno, which is going to crack Deiveson right on the right eye. This is what caused the knockdown or the injury that ended up stopping the fight in between the third and fourth rounds. And as you can see from the graphic on screen now, he didn't just throw the left hook Russian style, he threw it from the southpaw stance, which is something we saw him implement earlier in the fight and he had success doing. And this led up to Brandon Moreno becoming the new UFC flyweight champion of the world. And that's going to be it for the breakdown today on Figueiredo versus Moreno 4 at UFC 283. If you want me to break down any other fights in this style or break down any of the trilogy bouts in this, saga, let me know and I can definitely do so. I'm your host, Double M. This has been the Touch 'em Up podcast breakdown of Figueiredo versus Moreno 4, and I'm out. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.